The greatest common factor, or GCF, of an expression is a common factor of the terms in the expression. It is the common factor with the greatest coefficient and the greatest exponent. You can factor any expression that has a GCF that's not equal to 1. Problem 2, finding common factors. What is the expression in factored form? First, part A, 6n squared plus 9n. First, we need to determine the GCF, or the greatest common factor. So note our coefficients, 6 and 9. 3 is the greatest common factor of 6 and 9. Then take note of our n squared and n. N to the first power is the greatest common factor of those. So our greatest common factor for both terms is 3n. So we'll factor out 3n, as shown here. That becomes 3n times 2n plus 3n times 3. And then using the distributive property to rewrite that expression, that's 3n times the binomial 2n plus 3. Now at this point, I always like to double check my work by distributing the 3n to the binomial and just making sure I haven't made any mistakes. So a quick check, 3n times 2n, sure enough, is 6n squared, and then 3n times 3, is plus 9n. Part B, 4x squared plus 20x minus 56. So again, first we need to find our greatest common factor. Considering the coefficients 4 and 20 and negative 56, our greatest common factor is 4. Then considering our variables, we have an x squared in the first term, an x in the second term, and x to the 0 power, or no x shown at all, in the constant term. So we don't have a variable in common between all three terms. Therefore, our greatest common factor is simply 4. So we'll factor 4 out. That becomes 4 times x squared plus 4 times 5x minus 4 times 14. Using the distributive property to rewrite, that becomes 4 times the trinomial, x squared plus 5x minus 14. And a quick double check, distributing the 4, we'd get back to 4x squared, great, plus 20x, minus 56. So that checks out, looking good so far. And then finally, factor the trinomial in parentheses. X squared plus 5x minus 14. So we're seeking first terms for our binomials with a product of x squared, and last terms with a product of negative 14 and a sum of 5. So the factored form becomes x minus 2 times x plus 7, meaning our entire factored form, not leaving out the 4 we factored out in step 1, is 4 times the binomial x minus 2 times the binomial x plus 7. Your turn, part A. What is the expression 7n squared minus 21 in factored form? Part B. What is the expression 9x squared plus 9x minus 18 in factored form? And part C. What is the expression 4x squared plus 8x plus 12 in factored form?